So one of the cool little features of the Lucee CFML Cold Fusion engine is that you can add a CachedWithin directive to a function declaration, and Lucee will automatically apply memoization to the function call, meaning that it will cache the outcome of the function based on a unique set of inputs, and it will apply that outcome on subsequent calls as long as the same inputs are provided. Now, one thing that didn't occur to me is that changes to the output buffer that are executed during the function execution are also part of that memoization or that caching. So when Lucee uses the CachedWithin directive to cache the outcome of a function, it is caching both the output buffer changes and the return value. So to demonstrate this, I have this testing caching function, and we write to the system output, right? So that'll write to the system log. We write to the output buffer of the request, and then we return the value. Now all of these are just serializing the arguments. I don't have any arguments articulated here in the signature, but you can see that we can of course call any function with any set of arguments that we want. So it's a beautiful dynamic language. So to test this, I then call this test caching function 4 times, each time with or two sets of 2 here. You can see one with a unique set of arguments A and the unique set of arguments B. So this first call in each group here primes the cache for the current request, right? I'm using CachedWithin request scope. And then the second call should then consume the outcome of that function without actually executing the underlying logic. And let me just jump in here. Let's clear our system log. And now let's go and jump into the browser and run this. So refresh. And what we can see is that each set of echo and return statements here are the echo and return statements here. And what we can see is that all 4 method calls, all 4 function calls, result in both the echo and the return. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we can see is that the echo statement, which writes to the system output, is included in the cached outcome of the function. Now, to demonstrate that while we have 4 clear invocations of the function, we're actually only executing the function 2 times, and we can do that by looking at the system log. And here in the system log, you can see that the system output call, right, which is what we call right before the echo, right, system output, that's only being written to twice, once for A and once for B, proving that the actual logic of the function is being skipped on those subsequent calls, even though we are seeing the echo. So the echo isn't truly executing on those subsequent calls, it's just the outcome of the echo is being applied as part of the application of the cached function. And that didn't occur to me that that would happen until it happened, and that's why I'm sharing with you guys, because I didn't think it was a non-obvious feature to me, but it's kind of cool, I guess, considering that it's essentially caching side effects of the output of the function. Now, when I saw this, I did want to do like a little follow-up experiment and say, well, if the CachedWithin directive will cache the outcome of buffer changes, will it interact with the content tag, right? So if I use the CF content tag and I write a variable here, what this does is essentially resets the output buffer and then writes this variable to the output buffer as the response. And this does not work. Well, it works, but it doesn't cache, right? So essentially I'm testing this to, I get the date stamp, I'm formatting it, and then I'm just writing that date stamp to the output, and then I'm attempting to cache it for 1 minute. So this time, instead of using CachedWithin request, I'm using CachedWithin create time span. And if we call this, let me jump over to that page, and we refresh, what you can see is that the output of that function is not being cached. So while the CachedWithin will cache the outcome of an echo-based change to the system, to the output buffer, alterations to the output buffer made with content supposedly are quite a different avenue of change, and those are not being cached with the CachedWithin. Anyway, it was just a fun little follow-up experiment on top of the CachedWithin exploration. So hopefully that was interesting.